Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody. Matthew Armstrong here on day 9 of our 90 days transformation from mediocrity to mastery. And we missed out yesterday, and because I was away, I just couldn't make it yesterday. I was doing a shamanic workshop up in the mountains. So it was an impossibility, and the email that I scheduled to go out to tell everybody that it wasn't happening yesterday didn't get sent out. So if you came to see the hangout yesterday and it wasn't there, that's why. I make no apologies for anything. I think maybe this is a good time to talk about this.
This started yesterday.
Okay, so we're working.
Because I was.
So yeah, so I make no apologies for that. And there's a few other things I want to talk about as well. And the email I sent out there was, I really don't feel like doing this, but let's do it anyway, right? This hangout, because I've committed to it, because I've scheduled it, and there's no excuse not to, right? Yesterday I had a valid reason, right? I just prioritized something else, and that's why, right? But tonight I just didn't feel like it. It's a Saturday night, and I have had very little sleep. I was up all night at a workshop, and then I got home after 6 a.m. and I was teaching a Tai Chi class at 9, and then I had my son for most of the day, which can take a lot of energy. A 2-year-old can take a lot of energy, and so yeah, completely exhausted, and just not feeling like it. Just not feeling it, you know. But I said, okay, let's do it anyway. My mind might go completely blank. I might come across as very uninspiring or boring. I don't know, but yeah, let's just do it. Because there's no excuse, right? There's no excuse not to. Not feeling like it is not it's not good enough. It's not a good enough reason, you know. And sometimes folks in the law of attraction, stroke spiritual new age sort of world will say, you know, if you're not feeling it, then don't do it. It's obviously not the right thing for you, yeah. And maybe at times that is the case, for sure. But also, more often than not, it's a huge cop-out. It's a huge cop-out. Because, you know, if you work out, have you ever done a workout when you didn't feel like doing it beforehand, but you did it anyway, and then afterwards you said, I wish I didn't do that workout? Unless something happened, like maybe you got an injury or something like that. But generally, no. You just get into state and you do it, right? So half an hour ago, I was just kind of lying there like a zombie on the sofa, thinking, I just can't think of anything, and I just can't even hardly lift my arm up. You know, how am I going to be able to deliver some sort of inspiring message to anybody? You know, I said that's not good enough, right? So let's do it. Let's do it. So, you know, don't let the new age law of attraction concept of, if you don't feel something, then you shouldn't do it, because often that's just resistance that you need to break through. That's just unconscious fears coming up, sabotaging agents of the unconscious mind, and often we just need to break through that stuff. Sometimes we need to tune into our intuition and have discernment, right? Discernment. Think about that word. If you're not fully familiar with exactly what it means, look it up. Discernment. To have discernment of you know, are we being true to ourselves? Or is it a cop-out, or is this should we really do this or not, right? So look at it from all different angles. So what's the worst that can happen? You know, that's the question I ask myself before I make a decision. What's the worst that can happen? You know, and then I ask myself, what's the best that can happen? and then ask myself, what's more important to me out of those two answers? What's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen? Because quite often when we're not sure if we're going to want to do something or not, then we say, well, what's the worst that can happen? And then if we look at the answer and we say, well, I can handle that, then we look at what's the best that can happen, and we go, well, that's pretty inspiring, to look at that. That makes me want to take action. And if the worst happens, can I handle that? Will I live? Will I get over it? Will people forget about it? Will people forgive me? Yeah, I can get over that. I can handle that. And then that's a good way to make a decision on many things, rather than the oh, I don't feel like it, so maybe that's the universe telling me I shouldn't do it. Bullshit. Okay. So, going to our other story about apologizing, and this can your defenses may go up with this, because it's something that when I was younger, I didn't want to apologize for things, didn't see why I'd have to, so I don't apologize for things, right? But I'll tell you the reason why. And then I got to the stage where I thought, okay, people are telling me that I'm arrogant or won't own up to my mistakes and things like that because I won't apologize, because it's very sort of social and cultural norm to apologize for stuff, right? And especially if you're from Ireland, many of the Irish people, apologizing is like a lifestyle. It's like just a word just thrown in there in every other sentence, for many people, right? So it's a program that doesn't serve most of the time. There's times when it's a good idea to apologize, even though the apology might not work, and I'll tell you why in a second. But yeah, so I actually started apologizing because people said to me I was arrogant and wouldn't acknowledge or own up or admit to my mistakes, things like that. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I am then. So I thought, well, I've got a problem with apologizing. So then I started being apologetic for things, and I did it anyway. Never really kind of sat me well, because I just, on an energetic level, I thought, well, I'm apologizing, so I'm putting myself lower, so then this person can give me forgiveness, which allows me to come up, but then it's kind of putting me at the effect of them, whether they forgive me or not. It never really made sense to me. I gave it a try for a while, so I have no issue with it. It's definitely not like an egoic thing. But then I stopped doing it again, because I thought, I'm not being true to myself by apologizing for things. Because, I was reading, I believe it was one of Tony Robbins' books years ago, and he said, everything happens for a reason, and it's to serve us in some way. And like some things just like jump off the page, should just kind of really ring true. And for me, that's what it was. I thought that really rings true to me. Everything that happens serves. Everything happens for a reason, and it serves. I look back at my own life, and I thought, yeah, even the seemingly bad stuff and the mistakes and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that'll serve me in some way. That'll made me who I am. That really made my growth happen. Those things that seem to be bad things, And so I thought, well, if that's true, then if everything happens for a reason and is to serve, then why do we apologize for anything? Because even when we like accidentally bump into somebody, well, that's happening for a reason. It's to serve in some way, right? And then I came across John Demartini's work, and that's what we're following in this 90-day transformation. I show you this book each time. The Values Factor. You need this book if you're following this 90-day program from Mediocrity to Mastery. Values Factor by Dr. John Demartini. And John Demartini, he talked about apology as well, and he just clarified it for me. This is the stuff that I kind of felt all along. here's someone who's like further down the path in a lot of ways, and he clarified it for me by saying, look, there is a divine order. There's the divine order. The universe is always in balance, and there's nothing out of place. And so then, if that is so, then there's a divine imperfection in everything. So there's no mistakes, and everything is for our higher good. And so then, apologizing for anything doesn't come into it. You know, and he talked about situations where, you know, he stepped on someone's foot while he was on an airplane, and then he turned around and said to the guy, "Oh, I stepped on your foot. Maybe I'm supposed to meet you. You know, maybe that's our introduction." And the guy went, kind of, "That's a bit strange. You know, what most people will say, sorry or excuse me or whatever." And anyway, they shook hands and sat down and had a great conversation, and he really helped the guy with his business. And then the guy came to a seminar, and he became a client of John Demartini's. So it served both of them, right? He could have just said, "Oh, sorry about that," and the guy said, "Yeah, you know, don't stand on my foot again," and that would have been it. And you know, but he took the higher level, and the higher level is to realize the divine order. And when anything happens, when anything bad happens, which is perceived to be bad, it's to actually look for the benefit. Look to how does this serve? What can we learn from this? How does it serve, right? And so, you know, that's why I don't apologize, because it just kept on coming up to me, different teachings telling me why I had this instinct or intuition that it just didn't seem right. Because when we apologize, we're putting ourselves down lower. We're asking like someone for their forgiveness, then we're putting ourselves at their mercy whether they forgive us or not. It just doesn't make sense. So energetically, when we can perceive things on an energetic level, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's not to say that I never do it. You know, it's sometimes it's the program still catches me, and you know, I off the cuff without thinking, I say, "Oh, sorry about that," but generally I just don't do it. So that's why I don't apologize for missing last night's hangout. There's obviously a reason for it. You had something else to do that served you in some way even more, and I had something to do that served me in some way even more. And then I was able to have this conversation right now with you, which I wouldn't have been able to have if we did the hangout last night. It would have been a different conversation, and maybe this one serves at a higher level, right? You know, we could talk in circles and circles and spirals and all sorts of things about this. But let's carry on with the topic at hand and with the course that we're doing, the values factor. And did you do your exercises? I know I did. The last exercise, which was the two exercises, exercise 4 and exercise 5, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, exercise 4. And then after that, I'm not going to read through all this right now because I want to get to the next chapter, which is very, what's the word, poignant, about what we've just been talking about. So we finished the 13 questions that reveal our highest values. Then step 2 was identify the answers that repeat most often. So this is the homework for until tomorrow, in the next 24 hours, is to complete step 2 after you've done 13 questions. Identify the answers that repeat most often. Step 3, summarize and prioritize your values. Step 4, double check your hierarchy values. Step 5, necessary revise your list. Step 6, continue to reevaluate your values. Right, so that's easy enough, won't take too long. Read that for tomorrow, really important. So, living your highest values. Now that you have a sense of your highest values, you have the opportunity and power to reshape your life to ensure that your goals, your actions, your relationships, your career, and your highest values all align. Throughout this book, you will see how awareness of your highest values enables you to create the inspired life you dream of, one that expresses your unique contribution and mission here on Earth. In the next chapter, you will take your journey one step further as you come to understand the value of challenge. Mastering the material in that chapter will enable you to proceed with a more balanced perspective, which in turn will enable you to pursue your mission with renewed dedication and inspiration. Okay, here goes. We're on chapter 3, the value of challenge. This is very few people teach this. Very few people teach this, so you may not have heard it before or in this form anyway. So listen in carefully, take notes. We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. Charles Swindoll. I posted that on my Facebook the other day and got a good response, but you know, it rings true to a lot of people because I guess it probably is, right? Most of us have had at least brief moments of saying, I feel empty inside. I just don't feel fulfilled. Can you relate? I know I can. We're probably used to thinking of those moments as bad times. I'd like to suggest that there also are blessings in disguise. One of the most powerful discoveries I've ever made came in my early 20s. After a childhood and adolescence full of physical and mental challenges, I'd become inspired to discover my most meaningful purpose and, accordingly, to awaken some of my dormant powers. From being a dyslexic child in braces who could barely speak, read, or write, I went on to become one of the top students at the junior college, university, and then professional school that I attended, with a lifelong hunger for research, study, writing, and communication. From this experience, I learned a basic truth. Your hierarchy of voids determines your hierarchy of values. Whatever you perceive to be most missing becomes the most important thing in your life. Whatever you think is most empty wants to be fulfilled. It was this realization that awakened me to the values factor. Paradoxically, those people who have accomplished greatness in their lives have also experienced times of feeling great emptiness. Martin Luther King Jr. had a profound sense that justice was lacking in American life, and so he placed an immense value on achieving justice. Albert Einstein had a deep sense of his own ignorance, and so he placed an extraordinary value on achieving knowledge. Helen Keller felt the vast void of being unable to hear or see, and so she developed an enormous value on being able to overcome her disabilities and communicate with others. By experiencing voids and challenges, these people were inspired to accomplishments that helped change the course of human history. How would you like to change the course of human history for the better? Sounds good to me. Your greatest voids determine your greatest values, and people who have experienced the very greatest voids are often those who achieve the most inspiring accomplishments. This is the value of challenge. Choose the challenges that inspire you. Even minor voids and challenges can produce values and awaken the drive to accomplish meaningful acts. However, generally speaking, greater voids and challenges tend to produce both greater values and greater drives to achieve. Thus, the world's great revolutions, innovations, and transformations have all been inspired by truly challenging voids. These monumental challenges and vast voids appeared so great to various emerging leaders throughout the history that they reshaped these leaders' highest values, affecting their entire lives and the lives of those they influenced. For example, the monumental lack of justice that Martin Luther King Jr. perceived for himself and his people was the challenging void out of which King created a whole new value, inspiring him to lead a movement that would transform his nation and his world. Had King felt more fulfilled by the world as it was, he would not have felt a powerful desire to change the injustice that he perceived. He would not have been willing to make the extraordinary efforts to rally others to his point of view, inspiring them with his own vision of the justice and equality that might be possible. In fact, his profound lack of fulfillment was a source of his inspiration and what moved him to inspire others. Paradoxically, King had both to help others see the inspiring possibilities that he himself could see and to help others share his lack of fulfillment with the world as it was. When hundreds of thousands of people of all races found their own dissatisfaction with racial injustice, they, like King, were willing to make their own extraordinary efforts to fulfill a new vision of human justice. Like King, they saw the void of justice in the world, and so they embraced the value of justice with a new intensity and commitment. Our lives are filled with an unending series of perceived challenges. Some we pursue and become inspired by, others simply cause us to cringe. When we live according to our highest values, we intentionally pursue those challenges or challenging opportunities that inspire us. That is because embracing our highest values allows us to fully mobilize all of our internal resources, all of our energy, drive, and commitment, all of our attention, focus, and clarity, all of our intelligence, talent, and ability. Because our highest values are so important to us, we no longer depend upon our need for support. Instead, we become willing to embrace support and challenge equally. And this willingness frees us to surmount every perceived obstacle and rise to every perceived challenge. By contrast, when we attempt to live according to another's highest values or according to any of our own lower values, we lack the inspiration that only our highest values can provide us. Accordingly, we resist challenge and seek only support, and as a result, we frequently face unwanted challenges that cause us to despair. The secret to living an inspired life then is to focus on those challenging voids that inspire us to stretch beyond our limits and create new visions, new possibilities, and new selves. Possibly our greatest creativity and innovation emerge when we are faced with these life-changing challenges. In fact, as I've consistently said, if you don't go after challenges that inspire you, you'll have to deal with challenges that don't. Likewise, if you don't fill your day with activities that inspire you, it will fill up with activities that don't. The power of the values factor is that it helps us to recognize the value of challenge by helping us to see how our most important values are directly produced by our greatest and most challenging voids. Once we recognize the value of challenge, we can find inspiration in situations that previously frustrated or dispirited us. We can also learn to choose intentionally our most inspiring challenges according to our highest values, so that we have little time for the challenges that do not inspire us. The notion of an inspiring challenge may seem unusual to many of us who are used to viewing challenges in a negative way, as dangers to be avoided or pains to be minimized. After all, most people want to ease without difficulty, pleasure without pain, opportunity without challenge, and fulfillment without deprivation. Most of us have the fantasy of creating a life that is all good and no bad, all positive and no negative, just as we may foolishly want marriages that are all support and no challenges, or jobs only to build our pride and never deflate it. But the world doesn't work that way. The inspirations that led you to your greatest fulfillment are derived from precisely those challenges that spur you to fill a void, answer a question, solve a problem, untangle a mystery, unveil an unknown, make order out of disorder, or meet a need. Your ability to engage in this process of growth and transformation is exactly what creates worth for others and for yourself, allowing you to lead a fulfilled and inspired life. We all have a deep-seated yearning to know and understand. This wish to transform the unknown into the known is part of a quest, knowledge that the entire human race shares. We feel it collectively and we feel it individually. Whatever is most missing in our awareness, we want to fulfill or find solutions to. And we are valuable to the world to the degree that we can help others find those solutions. In fact, every job out there, every product, service, or profession is valuable because it helps someone to transform their challenges or fill their voids. Again, this is the importance of the values factor. It enables us to perceive the potential value in every situation, even those that at first glance we may view as meaningless, dispiriting, or frustrating. The values factor helps us to see voids, challenges, and apparent obstacles as opportunities, possibilities, and sources of inspiration. Think about it. A businessman or woman creates a product or service that meets people's needs and thereby helps them fulfill their voids. A salesman or woman connects customers with the products or services that will fulfill their voids or needs. A politician helps bring the value of governed order out of the void of chaos, one way or another. Just about any job that we value in this society is somehow involved with helping other people transform their challenges, meet a need, answer a question, solve a problem, untangle a mystery, or create a new vision. In this way, the bad news of challenging voids becomes the good news of fulfilling values. The bad news of challenges, difficulties, and obstacles become the good news of inspiration, fulfillment, and the value to ourselves and others. Anytime you find a void in the world that inspires you, you have found at least one of your niches to serve. Now you can't wait to go and fulfill your life by filling other people's voids. You can solve your own challenges by helping others solve theirs. And you'll have found an incredible financial opportunity at the same time. If you can help other people solve their challenges, there's your wealth. and there's your self-worth. Now you know you're valuable to others, and you can build self-worth from that. I can offer my own example as proof. I encountered some challenging voids growing up, including physical restriction and some significant learning problems. As a result, I dedicated my life to researching, writing, traveling, and teaching. I find these highest values profoundly fulfilling, and seldom more so than when I am helping other people to find their own freedom, genius, and authentic selves. By fulfilling and inspiring others, I fulfill and inspire myself. By turning my greatest voids into my highest values, I have created a lucrative profession that, to me, is also the most exhilarating mission in the world. My frustrating voids became my inspiring values. The same can be true for you if you are willing to master the values factor. Here are the lesson, and yeah, if you will, you're on day 9, so you will continue to watch each one of these virtually nightly trainings that we're doing over the next 81 days now, 80 days, and you will get your transformation, as will I. You will get what you're looking for, as will I. Like I said, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you gotta dig deep and pull something out of where you didn't know where it was. You didn't know you had it in you. You know, sometimes we just don't know what we have in us until we're put in extraordinary situations. You know, there's a saying that says there is no such thing as extraordinary men or women. Only ordinary men or women that are put in extraordinary situations, right? So when we put ourselves in extraordinary situations, then we find things that are extraordinary within ourselves, right? Whenever we challenge ourselves with inspiring values, then that is when, you know, we'll activate our genius. That's when we'll bring out latent talents and you know, things that are inside of ourselves that we just might not have known. You know, and we literally haven't scratched the surface of our potential as human beings. We're going a long way. That's my my firm belief with it, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the 21st century, where it's going to go. You know, and I've got an enthusiasm for the years to come. As challenging as they might be, something great will come from them for sure. So that is the end of our lesson for tonight. That's just gone over 30 minutes. So remember to complete the exercise, and that's it for me. I did it, and you did it. You turned up. Appreciate that. It's a Saturday evening where I am. Don't know what time it is for you. It's 9:30 here for me. So I look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow. And if you want to be on our email list, you can join our team, or just click on the link below this this hangout, and just put your email details in anyway, and then you'll be on my list, and then you'll get updates of when things are happening, if things aren't happening, various other things that are happening, and then the various sort of inspiring emails and messages and videos and things that I send out as well, and now and again different kind of free things and bonuses just for being on my list. So go ahead, click the link below, and you can go ahead and do that right now. And if you want to join my team, that is a really great thing to do if you want to create financial independence in your life and have the best system available to do that in the fastest possible time. Income disclosure is also available at the bottom of the screen as well. Okay, thank you for watching this evening. Truly appreciate you. Thank you very much. And I shall see you again tomorrow. Any comments you want answered, any questions, leave them in the comments box, and I'll answer them in tomorrow's hangout as long as they're relevant. Thanks very much. See you then.